And of course I'm going to get judged again by this fucking guilt machine. Way of life it is then.
Buyer's Remorse.
Hello and welcome to Buyer's Remorse. I'm Justin.
And I'm Darren.
Today we are going to listen to Darren talk about a game. What game is it?
The Way of Life.
Right, so here on Buyer's Remorse, we always have games that are untouched or unplayed in our libraries. We find those and subject each other to them for 60 minutes to see if it is a wonderful buyer's confirmation or a dreaded buyer's remorse. Now, I picked The Way of Life because I had played this years ago, I think when I first got on Steam, because it was free. It was I think early release, at the time, an early release game. It was far from finished. It was barely begun when I played it, but it was an interesting concept of 3 different timelines as a baby, as an adult, and as an old man. And so there would be things like the baby, I think, could only crawl or something. The old man was very slow, so trying to cross the road was a difficulty.
Okay.
Whereas the man in his prime could jump around things and there was sort of a lava level. I didn't really see where they were going to go with it, just that those elements, the different stages of life, were going to be important.
Well, you played a very different game than I did.
I'm sure I did. Like I said, it felt like it was barely begun. Like they hadn't even really gotten into it. It felt like a game jam game at the time, but I didn't even know about game jams in those days.
What year was this? Did you play this in then?
Probably 2014, I'd say.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you definitely played a very, 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 very super alpha version of this then, because this came out in like 2018, I think, or was released in 2018. So did you like what you played?
Not really. I like the concept more.
Did it have that art style of all like very angular polygons and stuff like that?
Yes.
Right, okay. Well, they kept that. I've got more notes for this than anything we've ever done, man. I took notes on everything. I'm just going to take you through my whole hour, right?
Okay.
So, because what it does is the game is basically, it's like a weird life chronicle simulator thing where you go in, there's a robot that is like, I'm the curator, or I don't know what his title is, but I'm the something, and I'm going to take you through the 3 stages of life. And so you go into a main hub, and it's like called the Hall of Memories or something like that. So there's like a ton of doors to look around, and each one takes you into a different memory. There's no order that you can play them in, that you have to play them in. You can play all the kid levels first. It's not a baby anymore. It's like I'd say he's like a 10-year-old kid or something like that now. So he's a 10-year-old kid, a kind of middle 30-something guy, and then, an old grandpa. I really don't even know where to begin. Start with the reviews. 85 mixed reviews. It's by a developer called Cyber Coconut. They've got no other games that I can see. Since 2018 March, there's not been a peep from them on Twitter, apart from the odd. This game is on 90% sale in 2020, and that was it. That was the last that they've done. It's a shame, because I hope this game didn't ruin them. I don't like this game, but I wish that they would do something else, because they've clearly got some talent and they've got some ideas, but we'll get into why I didn't like it in a minute. But it's a low poly walking sim. There's no intro. It just like throws you right into the options menu, almost like you've hit ESC by accident. It's like there's no intro screen. Like, I mean, I'm talking when you load up the game, it goes to that settings page. Like, there's no way of life, nothing. It's like settings, options, video, audio. It's like, really? There's not even a title screen for this game. All right, that's odd.
It's just a bit of a reminder of Boob's Battleground, or what that one was like. And it's just shocking because that was clearly so much less developed than what I thought The Way of Life would be.
Right. So this guy, he's called the Pathkeeper. That's what he is. He's like, pick a door and then live the experience as a young boy, an adult, or an old grandpa.
Do you have to play those doors at least in order? Like you have to do baby number 1 or kid number 1?
You go through a door and it's basically, you see the 3 characters, you walk to whichever one you want to do and then you click on it. Guess you're pretty fucked if you're a girl, because there's boy, man, grandpa. Girls can fuck off. So
maybe they were planning that to be the sequel.
The sequel, yeah. So that was the first thing that hit me. And I don't get, like, what's the word? I'm not really into that kind of politics, but that did kind of mean like, oh, really? There's not even a girl option? Like, nothing? Like, not even a mum? Because there's women in the game, and it's like, oh, the parents are fighting in this level. I'd like to see this from the mum's perspective. Fuck, nah, you don't get that.
Do you have any sort of language dialogue?
There's subtitles. There's nothing okay. Voiced.
Because I think when I played it, I don't think any of that was in the game.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just get this out of the way now. One of the main reasons I don't like this game is because of the writing. The writing is, oh my god, it is disgustingly preachy. It's terrible, man. It's so bad. It's so bad. In fact, that's one of my tags, is preachy. So the first puzzle is great. Wow, amazing. You've got basically a door. You got to jump over something first, which I'm running. And then I'm like, okay, there's a hole in the ground. I got a space bar over this, and the whole game stops and goes, "Hey, you got to press space to jump over this." Yep, I know. Just let me do it. No, you got to like back up a little bit and then go. Like, okay, yep, I know how to jump and run and jump. All right, get to the door. There's 3 locks, and basically the game says, put the triangle one on the left side, put the heart key in the middle, and put the star in the right hand side, and then the door opens. It's like, oh, so you did the puzzle for me as well. Oh, thanks. Like, what?
What age are you at this point? Are you?
You are no age. You are basically the anomaly. Basically, the Pathfinder says, oh, there's something weird going on. Like, I'm getting some weird, like, readings. Like, you're part of the game. So it's like, you're like, I think they refer to you, in a minute, they'll refer to you as the one. You're like the Neo of the Way of Life universe. But that wasn't enough to interest me in going back to it. So basically, yeah. So you get your first puzzle, and they tell you how to solve the puzzle. It wouldn't even be that hard. There's 5 keys to choose from. All they have to do is add a piece of paper that maybe had a hint on it about something. Like, they could have done anything with this, but what they did was they made a puzzle, and they're like, oh shit, I can't be bothered actually writing a puzzle for this. I'll just tell them how to solve it. So you do it. There's, such much puzzle. You get into the library. The library is awesome. It's so beautiful. It's got a really cool design. It's just like books up to the ceiling, infinity. It's a big circle that just goes up and up and up and up. There's a painting on the wall. There's 3 paintings of people in the middle around this kind of globe thing. And so then you're like, okay, pick a character. And I hated all of them. Like, you got this twat king who's like all swooning. He's holding his crown off to his side. You got this weird dark elf fantasy, or this what looks like an alien with like antenna, I think, like some kind of alien bug cosplay. I was just like, I don't want to play any of these shit characters.
Wait, are we still in the corridor, the opening bit?
Yeah, this is the opening of the game. So it's like you have...
Okay, so you haven't even gotten to the doors where you look at your life yet.
No. This is all like a tutorial mission. But it's like, this is your avatar that you're choosing to inhabit the world before you inhabit the lives of the 3 people.
So what'd you go for?
I think I ended up going bug cosplay, man. But this was a real disconnect, because it's like, I don't like any of these characters. Behind these shit characters, there's a guy on a wall in a painting. He's bald and he's got a beard. And I was like, I want to be that guy. Like, give me that guy. But the good thing is you don't have to look at yourself. So you just pick the stupid avatar. I don't know if it matters. Maybe it does. I'm not going back to find out. So, yeah. So basically, all of a sudden, I'm the chosen one. And, I'm all important, but I don't care. And I have to gather all my memories, build a statue of one of these like douchebags that I've chosen, that I was forced to choose between, and then this is the way of life. And I was like, oh, okay.
How did you build the statue? Just picking up pieces?
So basically, yeah. So each time you go once you get into the Hall of Memories and you go through a door and then you pick the child or the man or the grandfather, once you complete his little story puzzle thing, if you can call it that, then a little bit of the statue gets built. And so you have to go through the game doing all the memories, building this statue. So I'm finally into the Hall of Memories. It's called the Bright Void. Very cool. Room full of doors in a circle, each lead to a memory. Almost. The first one I pick was actually another settings door, so I'm back into that stupid menu of audio, visual. You'll see on the video playthrough of this as well. I was like, is there a bug here? Is there something wrong? Because I want to go through this door. Did I press the wrong button? And so I'm clicking, and I go back, and I click on it again, and I just keep on bringing up the settings menu. I'm just repeating the same mistake over and over again before I realize, like, this is them trying to be clever. Like, one of these doors is a setting door. It's like, don't put that in the game. If this is the hub of where I'm supposed to be going, don't put that in there. So there, I go in that. I finally work out, okay, this is the settings menu. So I go to another door. That's the Kickstarter people page. So it's all the Kickstarter people. And eventually I pick a door, which was it was 2 chess pieces, and it was the pawn kind of killing the king. I chose the adult man. Okay, so I'm in a corridor. I see my son. He's on a swing. I push him, and he swings up, and then he kind of stops himself, and then he looks back at me, and he's like, there's no facial expressions on them. So I'll give them some credit. They managed to convey an emotion to me, and it was like, my son hates me. Like, just, there's no eyes, there's no nose, there's no mouth, but I could got the feeling that I wasn't wanted. And so the game does tell you that in a minute. So I push him like 3 times, and then he's like, oh, my son doesn't want me, all the joy's gone, or something like that. And so I'm like, okay, I'm out of here. So I exit out of a door. So I go down another corridor, and there's a room full of arrows, and all the arrows are pointing in different directions. It takes me 5 seconds to realize that once I get close to an arrow, the up button becomes the direction of that arrow. So instead of walking forward, I start walking right. So you basically got to navigate your way by pressing the counterintuitive buttons to just get across this circle, this like circle basically. So I get to the other side, and then the dialogue is telling me stuff like, "Oh, it's so hard." It's not. I just finished it, and it took me 2 seconds to work out what you were doing. You get into a metronome room. And then, obviously, it's like, oh, this is a metaphor for life, like the boredom. There's a desk, a workplace desk over there. There's something over here. I've got to the metronome's right in the center of the room. I go up to it. I want to just, like, pick it up or smash it or something. But you can't do that yet until the game decides that you can. I want to destroy this. Oh, Christ, man, this is what I've been trying to do. I gotta bumble through this crap dialogue, or monologue, I should say. And eventually you knock over the metronome. He's like, I've had enough.
You didn't have to do work first?
No, I didn't. Oh, thank God. Yeah. Next room, literally, is put trash into a trash can. You pick up bits of paper and you put them into a trash can. And the next room, I think, was supposed to be a clever, endless corridor that you basically, again, wandering through life, blah, 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 blah. Oh my God, life's so hard. It's never ending.
Is it saying all of this to you while you're doing it?
No, because I didn't get that far. I think it would have, but what happened was I got into this room, it was pitch black, there was a door in front of me, and what I did was, I just wanted to do a sweep of the room and see what was around, and I turned around behind me, and the word exit was on the door, so I walked through that. I walked forward a little bit, and then I walked in, and it was like more corridors. I was like, I wonder what was in that black room. Oh, the exit. In big letters, exit. So I walked through that door.
Now, I think there's a huge problem of you having played Antechamber before this.
Yeah. And so I walked through the exit, and that leads me to what? I commit suicide. I was like, I didn't mean to take exit. I mean, sorry, I didn't mean to take exit metaphorically. It's literal in the game. It's like this is the cheap exit, or this is the easy exit. And then it's like the son and the mum come and and it's like at the bottom, what have I done? I want to live. Oh my God. It's fucking terrible dialogue. It's terrible writing, man. Absolutely. It's horrible. And so the kids come and they cry over you, and then I die. Nobody calls a fucking ambulance. They're just patting me in the head while I've overdosed on pills. So that's my first room. And then I try another room. Oh, whoops.
Can you do it? Did you do it again?
No, I didn't want to. I mean, yeah, if I was interested, yeah, I would have gone back. But I was like, I'm on an hour. Let's just see what trash this game's got to offer. So try another room. This is where I'm like, I walked into the dev room in this part. Like, this is another room that's not a room. So then I find a room that's got like, it looks like a finalist's podium above the door. They've all got little labels above the doors, right? So,
but they're just pictures.
They're just simple pictures, yeah. And so I picked the kid this time, and it's the kid at the science fair, and Now I get lost. I walked right past the solution of the puzzle, which is basically you're building some kind of lava lamp. You got to fill the lava lamp with different colours. You make the colours by mixing chemicals together.
Do you have to know how colors mix to make different colors?
No, because
this has been a problem for you in the past.
Yeah, it has. No, they give you the solution on a big poster, which I walked past 3 or 4 times before I realised, again, I did want to explore. You're in a high school or a school gymnasium. There's other kids at the science fair, so I was doing a lot of walking sim stuff. I was walking around and I was looking at other people, and you go out into a corridor with all the lockers, and there's a playground at the bottom, but you hit an invisible wall. You're not allowed to go there, and I don't like that. People walk, and when they walk into you, they just push you back. So it's kind of dumb mechanics there. So eventually I passed that level, and it's like, oh man, I wish my grandpa was here. And then he could see, and he would be so proud of me. I was like, okay, well, I'll play the grandpa and see what he was doing at the time. Because I think these are all linked, at least. No, don't be silly, Darren. These stories aren't linked. You're playing the grandpa, now you're making a model ship with him. So there's nothing about, this is not this is not stuff that's all happening at the same time.
So are you not the same person throughout, then?
No, because I'm this chosen one. This doesn't seem to be my life.
Right. Okay. Maybe I misunderstood originally, or maybe they changed what they were going to do.
Man.
But I thought that you were experiencing the different stages of one life, but you're the different generations of one family.
I thought when you said to me, when you told me about this game, I bought this game because it was on sale, but I was like, this is a game that I want to play. But it's not. It's not. And it shows you. I mean, I know it's low poly, very low poly, but the kid has the same hairstyle. It's the same kid. So you're playing 3 different characters. I thought they were all, the same, but just different generations. But no, so you're with the grandpa. He's building a model ship when he's young or whatever, and he's doing it. And now my frustration just hits a new level of like sheer pain. You have to do these little mini games. So it's like you're the grandpa, you're old, your kid, your grandson is over there, and he's helping you build the model ship, and you're like, I can do this, and you got a really shaky hand, you got to place the sail, and every time you place it, it's wrong, and so the game is forcing you to fail, and you have to accept the failure, and I'll let my grandson place it, and my hands are too shaky. I'll go in and make lunch for us. So you get inside the house, and you basically, there's not really much option other than to go up the stairs, and so you can hold down shift and you can run around this thing, you can go up and down the stairs, but the dialogue hasn't progressed enough yet. And then what happens is,
as the grandpa, you're running around.
Oh, you're sprinting, man. You're like Usain Bolt up and down
that
this
has
shit.
changed, because that was the thing about the grandpa, is he was so slow he couldn't even cross the street.
Well, we'll get to that. Okay. So you're going up and down. It's like the dialogue is slowly going along, and then it flashes you back to the bottom of the stairs. Like, oh, I should take the elevator. You got an elevator in this house, by the way, for 1 floor. So you got to, no, I'm going to take the stairs. I'm not going to be, restricted by my age. And it's this fucking impossible task of getting up the stairs now, where you got to keep this little ball in the middle of the circle. If you go out, you fall down the stairs. Set to fail. Done.
Do you break your hip?
No, you don't. You're a very resilient grandpa. So you take the elevator, the elevator of shame up the 1 story. Now you get to the kitchen and you got to chop a zucchini because kids love zucchinis. And he's like, when I was young, and now it's like your hands just like, whoa, you're just wobbling all over the place. You're trying to cut this fucking zucchini and you just keep on chopping your hand and you don't bleed. You're like, oh, my hand. And you get to do it as many times as you want. And eventually you're just like, okay, I'm calling for pizza. Like, can I get 2 pizzas, please? The calling pizza of shame now because I can't do the mini game. But to be honest, I think the kid would have preferred pizza anyway. And so that's the end of this bit. And I hate games that are made to make you fail. Maybe there's a way to pass it. Maybe you can if you've got patience and like hair trigger timing. It's like you've got to click the mouse at the exact point and it's waving all over the place. I got it quite far down. I was like 1 cut away from doing it. So maybe it probably is possible. Yeah, I did it. I don't care. I really don't care. So then I did the dad, who assumed to be the dad.
The dad is dead, though.
Well, he's not dead yet.
Okay.
So that was the other room. Again, so everything's just disjointed and it's just all a bit of a mess. So you can play the story, if there is a story in any order, I suppose. So you get to the dad. You're in an office, of course. It's black and white because it's just got little bursts of colour where people have decorated their little cubicles, so it's, oh yeah, everything's boring, mundane, yeah. There's a pretty cool Star Wars poster in here. It's called, like, Space Conflict or something like that.
Of course it is.
It's got some little TIE fighters. They got circle wings instead of hexagonal ones. And so you're at your desk and you're like, I want a promotion. I've got to do this really boring job. And basically there's 2 patterns and you have to click, are they the same? Green button. Are they different? Red button. And so, like an idiot, I did this for like way too long. Maybe 5 minutes, which is a long time considering how boring this is. But that's the point. It's boring. So you eventually just like, I'm not doing this anymore. You get out of your chair. And so you can walk around the office. So yeah, so I wanted to play the game where I was rewarded for my perseverance, right? Like, okay, I'm just going to do this boring job and something good will happen. Nothing happened, or I just didn't, maybe I was a little bit away from triggering it or something like that. But the solution to this, what I could find was, I win by screwing over all my coworkers. So basically, my coworkers are getting up to get cups of coffee. I go to their terminal, and then I've got this stupid mini game where I have to guide a unicorn across a line. If I fall off the line, I got to start at the beginning again. I got to hit these nodes, and that's basically you hacking the computer. And so you hack the computer, and you basically set up the system so that they get all these green button, red buttons wrong, so it'll mess up their answers, so they'll fail. And so each time you do this, he's like, blah, 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 blah. I'm diabolical. And he says the same dialogue 4 times or something like that.
Every time, I'm diabolical.
I'm diabolical! And it's always got like the exclamation marks. They'll not be able to input the correct things. I'm diabolical. Next terminal, they'll not be able to do this. I'm diabolical. Says that every single time. And then there's one part where one of the guys was going back to his terminal, so I run, and I'm basically just pushing him out of the way. Excuse me, would you mind if I borrow your terminal? And then I hack it right in front of him, and then I do that. I get out. As soon as I leave, he sits down, and then he's like, oh, it messes up his system. It was pretty funny. And so, yeah, and then it's a photo, it's a shot of me in the boss's room, and I'm like pumping the air with my fists, yeah, and I'm laughing away, and all the guys I've fucked over in the background have their boxes and they've been fired. So don't I feel like a hero? So I've committed suicide, I've screwed everyone out of their jobs. What else does this game have for me? Yeah.
Can I just say, I think you may have played this game incorrectly. At least for the way that you would play and the way that you hate being the bad guy. And yet you seem to be choosing that all the time.
It seems like it's my only option, man.
But I think that may be the message of the game, is that doing the right thing isn't the easy thing.
Well, if it is, I'm going to look it up. And if there is an easy solution, if you can be a good guy, then
it's not easy. That's the point, I think, is that you're going to have to do the difficult.
I'm not taking any of my criticism back because there's no indication that there isn't a good playthrough of this. It's like every single decision I made in this game was bad. The game makes you feel like an asshole the entire way. For the entire hour I played, I hated every second of it. So
if you already played a section, could you play it again?
Yes.
Okay.
So I go to another level, and I'm a boy. Again, and I'm in the park. I'm like, yay, get to be in the park all alone. This is cool. And so, again, I messed up this section because I did one thing wrong. So basically, you got options. You go to the little pond part, you can feed the ducks. I didn't really realize there was another option until the end of the level where I realized, I'm an asshole again because I did something wrong. Looking back now, I think the option is you can throw rocks at the ducks or you can feed the ducks. So I didn't see the rocks. I mean, I did. They were there. And I was like, why is that hovering? Why is there an option to interact with the rocks? Here's a bread. I'm going to feed the ducks. Because what fucking human being would throw rocks at a duck? In game or out of game? Like, I'm sorry, that's just not what I'm going to do. So, of course, I take the bread and I feed the ducks. And then the next part is a raccoon, and the raccoon is bothering this beehive. I didn't see anything else to interact with this time, just like the bread, I guess. There was only rocks. And so I throw a rock, and it seems to hit the branch of the tree. And I'm like, okay, I've got to scare away the raccoon. No. I hit the beehive falls, the raccoon runs away. But now it's like I'm looking over at the beehive, and I'm like, I'll have to find a new home now. And this is a fail condition for the level, so I messed it up again. There's an anthill, and the anthill is full of trash, and basically there's these ants going around, and you've got a magnifying glass. I'm like, oh God, please, really, are we going to have to do this now? I've got to burn ants. So I'm like going around trying to burn these ants before I realize, like, oh, there's like a Coke can. And so the ants are like, basically there's a maze, and they want to get to their anthill, but people have littered the park. Rather than me picking up the trash with my hands, you have to burn the trash with the magnifying glass.
Of course, that makes total sense, because nothing gets rid of a Coke can faster than burning it with a magnifying glass.
Exactly. So I'm burning bottles, I'm burning takeout boxes, I'm burning Coke cans, and so then the ants all get to their anthill. I'm like, oh, okay, fine. And there's another one, there's a tree, and it's got dead branches on it. And you're like, I think the option is you can pull off all the good branches. What kind of fucking psycho does this game think I am? Like, seriously, it's like, okay. But I think, so I pull off all the, long story short, I pull off all the dead branches. The thing is, okay, so you asked me before, is there a good playthrough? Yes, but I think you have to complete everything in both ways. So you have to play the bad playthrough too, to get to see all the endings. Yeah, so again, I'm still sticking with my I hate this game. And so it shows you an overview of the park. The ants are happy. The beehive is on the ground. The tree grows up into a nice, beautiful tree. The ducks are happy and the fish are swimming. And it's like, oh, but you knocked over that beehive. You're a dick. All right. So I'm in the same zone. I'm like, okay, I'll try and play the adult this time. I'm a juror or judge or something. There's a sick kid, and the mum's like, or the dad's like, oh, how are we going to pay for the medical bills? And so I'm basically in the Old Bailey with these guys, and I'm reviewing the case. So there's three cases. There's three parts of the case to look at. Sick kid. They need money. And so they rob someone. This was actually not a bad level. It was a bit of stealth. There's like some, like in BioShock, where the cameras are looking at you and they've got like the red area on the ground, so you have to kind of sneak around to get under them to hack the cameras and stuff, the security cams. It's kind of like that. You just got to avoid the red bits, and you're robbing this guy. So that's the first part is the kid in the hospital. That's the reason for the robbery. You get to do the actual robbery. It's really basic, but it was all right. Then the third part is, it turns into a double homicide. But the thing is, it's like the guy that you're with, he's going to shoot. It's going to be like a home invasion almost, where the guy goes a bit mental and wants to kill the house owner. So he does shoot the guy. So I shoot him. I'm like, no, you killed someone. I'm shooting you because you might kill me. And so as the judge, you got set him free, 25 years, or the death penalty. I'm against the death penalty, so I chose 25 years. Yeah, you still did a crime. You get to decide the case. I did. Done. Didn't feel bad because he's like, yeah, 25 years. Yeah, still did a crime, so he has to go to jail. Okay, maybe.
I'm guessing you got a bad ending.
Probably, yeah. Oh no, I don't know. You could give. I mean, I don't want to go back and give someone the death penalty.
Do you get the bad ending immediately, or are you talking at the end of the game?
No, you get it after each scene. So okay. It's like for this one, it doesn't really have a bad ending. I mean, I guess
that you know of.
The ending. Maybe I chose right. I mean, for this one, that doesn't seem like a right. This one is a completely moral choice. It's like, do you think he should go free? Do you think he should get jail time? Or do you think he should get the death penalty? So, like I said, I'm opposed to the death penalty, so I didn't want to give him that. But he did commit a crime, so that's it. That's why I'm not a judge. Or a lawyer. No, it's not. It's because I'm not smart enough. So, next level. Another level with a rich kid who doesn't want to play football with his dad. He's at school and he's looking at the clock and he's like, man, I want to get home. I hate school. School's boring. Blah, boo. I'm a rich kid in a nice suburban area. And then you cut to this life in Afghanistan. There's an air raid coming. So now you're controlling another person and you have to get to the bomb shelter. I died on purpose on this level because I wanted to see what was going on. I died on purpose, and he's like, this is again, the writing is so shit, man. Like, why has everything gone white? I just wanted to go to school and learn. And it's just like, oh, come on, man. I mean, really, like, fuck you, right? I mean, do you think, am I bad because I couldn't wait for the bell to go home? Every kid does that. You think that kids in Iraq and Afghanistan are not sitting at school going, I can't wait to get out of school to play football? Fuck off. Like, not everyone is, like, living this impoverished, horrible life, like, in these countries. Yeah, this exists, but, like, people adapt to their situations and still can find joy in their life. Like, they still have lives. It's like you're looking at it from this tiny little corner where this game is so, like, holier than thou, man. I fucking hate this. I really don't like this, especially this part. Anyway, I do it again, and I get to the air raid shelter in time this time, and the woman, basically, time passes, everyone's gone except for this one woman and me, all the food's gone, she needs water, and so I'm like, alright, I go and get some water for her. It's a kind of a mini game where there's guys outside with machine guns. If they catch you, that's end of the level. You get drafted into the child army, and you don't get you don't. Jesus, turning a Rick. You don't get a respawn. You're done. So I got caught right at the end. I got the water because it's fairly easy to avoid them. I got a bit cocky, I think. So, and then I got busted. And I was like, ah, shit. Well, I guess. And I'm running out of time by this point.
That's always my thing with stealth games, is I think that I'm always trying to figure out the fastest way to get through that section.
Right.
And then that's usually
ends up taking the longest because you have to redo it. Yeah, my hubris is often my downfall when it comes to stealth games. Yeah, I'm always testing, like, what's their range of hearing or seeing, like, you know, how much sprinting can I get away with? Pretty lax in this level, but alright, so I get drafted into the child army. Again, okay. Next one is the man. I have to get the subway because there's been a terrorism bomb. Again, same level. Okay, I get what you're doing. There's been a bombing, so I can't take the bus. Got to take the subway or whatever. I can't drive on the road. I got to take the subway for some reason. So you get in the subway, which takes way too long. I thought I had to interact with something to, like, trigger the ending to get off the subway, but I don't. It just keeps going and going and going.
You were hoping for subsurface circular here.
Yeah. And so there's a guy to my left. There's a guy to my right, just sitting down. There's a guy across from me. He's got his bag on a chair on the subway thing. There's a guy off to my way down my left on the next kind of bench across down there. Drunk guy, big scraggly beard, waving a beer bottle around. He's just having a good time on the subway. And then the dialogue is like, God, why is he taking up the whole row? And I'm like, this guy in front of me, like, he's got his bag. The train's not exactly full, like 7 people on the train. And then once you get up and you look at it's the drunk guy they're talking about, because he's kind of got his feet up and he's waving his bottle around. He's like, oh, it's all his fault. He's a fucking asshole. He's obviously done something wrong with his life and blah, 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 blah. What a dickhead this guy is. It's like, oh, really? So this is a game of just the developer just posting all of his own beliefs into this and making me... And at one point he's like, wow, I guess we're all racist deep down. Like, no, you are. Like, fuck off. Don't tell me that. Like, no. And he's like, people... Oh, shit, what have I written down here? People bombing the middle... People... Oh, yeah. Yeah, so we're all racist deep down. People bombing the Middle East are bad. Drunks are such dicks. Like, it's not all that simple, man. You're really generalizing, and you're doing it on a platform, and you're putting words in my mouth, and I don't like those words, you know? So, yeah, I guess we're all racist deep down. All right. Another level. Some guy dancing in money. All right, let's do this. So we follow a white path along a slightly different white background, which was a real pain in the ass. It's like basically a weird magic carpet ride through the clouds. There's all doors and stuff everywhere. You get into a room and it's raining money, like bags of money. You collect a bunch of money. Once you get a bunch of money, the lift opens. You get in the lift and you go up. And of course, I'm going to get judged again by this fucking guilt machine. So you've got 6 options. Oh, wait. 1, 2, 3, 4. You've got 5 options. 5 things to spend your money on. And so you got to choose one of each 5, right? So it's like option 1, house or mansion. Option 2, car or car with caravan. Option 3, yacht or education. Option 4, casino or like, it looks like maybe relaxing holiday in the beach, I guess. It's like a parasol and some deck chairs. And then the last one is like corporate. It's like a corporation. It's like a big office building, or like these needy hands. So give your money to charity or invest in stocks, I guess. And so I put all my money in. I get through a door and I chose honestly, you know. I think I chose house, car, education, beach, or maybe I chose casino, I can't remember, and charity. And that was my hour. And I'm not going back.
What happened to your choices?
It just says like, oh, you chose this because you value this over this. It's like, no, that's not why I chose it, dickhead. I chose it for reasons completely different to that. Stop fucking saying things that I'm not thinking. It's probably the most F-bombs I've dropped in one of these episodes, man.
I would say probably, yeah. So you're definitely not going back.
I'm not going back. I can't even fathom going back to collect all the parts that I need to build those stupid statues. I mean, look how bad the game made me feel in an hour. I'm not going back for more of that. That is absolute torture. It's not the worst game I've ever played, but it's certainly the angriest I've ever been about a game. It's not for me. I love indies. I would happily play something else that this developer's made. I like his style of animation. I like that. He's clearly can make a puzzle game if he just doesn't solve the puzzles for us. And yeah, I'm all for a second chance. I'm not giving this game a second chance, that's all.
Would you recommend this game to me?
I think you'd be disappointed what this game's become, because it sounds like you had the idea about this game that I thought I was getting into as well. It's completely different from what you expected and what I expected. But even as a game, I really don't think you'd enjoy this, because it's a walking sim, but it's got all the bad things of a walking sim. It's a puzzle game, but it's got all the bad hallmarks of a bad puzzle game. And it's got some of the worst writing I've ever experienced in a video game, to be honest.
And the mechanics?
Mechanics-wise, it functions. Okay. Yeah,
that was one of the issues I had with it in the, as I said, extreme early access, is that I think that one level where I was having to jump up these platform stair kind of things, it was so difficult. I was falling off all the time, and that was a real issue for me.
Maybe they removed that kind of stuff from the...
Well, I think they removed everything from what I played, at least.
Yeah.
You didn't encounter...
Yeah, I mean...
The few things that I remember from it, you have not encountered.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I only got to play... I mean, I don't know how many doors I went through on this playthrough. Maybe 4. There's like 15 doors. So there's a lot more pain to this game.
Would you recommend this to anyone?
Honestly, no. No, I wouldn't. I mean, I'm sorry, I wouldn't. And I can see why it's mixed, because there'll be people who are like, want to support the indie devs, who maybe like this kind of writing. I mean, maybe they like it, or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's just maybe I'm blowing everything out of proportion. But I can only talk about my opinion and my feelings. So for me personally, I would be giving this a negative review. I don't normally review negative. I don't normally negatively review games, because I'm of the mind if you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all. So I wish the developer every success in the future, but I think this game might have ruined them, because they've not done anything for the last 3 years.
Well, maybe they've gone under a different name since.
They could have. Yeah, they should. Yeah.
Well, I will say that I've enjoyed listening to you talk about this game. What 3 tags would you give it?
Preachy, unfun, and I wrote down walking sim, but then I changed it to guilt sim.
Okay. Is unfun a word?
No, but it is now.
It is now. It's been coined now for all eternity. I
mean, it is. It's anti-fun. Like, I got no joy at all from playing any of these levels. Nothing at all. Everything was, it was just unfun.
Great. So, buyer's confirmation?
I think I paid probably a couple of bucks for this. I love indies, but I have to, as they say, shit or get off the pot. So I'm falling onto the negative side of this for sure. I will not be going back to this game. The hour that I played I did enjoy the hour. It's money not well spent. Like, it wasn't even boring or I missed the point. It was just the opposite of what fun is. So that is a huge remorse.